Hello everyone, my name is Vikas Shukla, and in today's video we are going to look at these two stocks in the electric vehicle segment from the China. One is NIO and the other is Li Auto. To give you some background about the Li Auto, they recently raised like over $1 billion from the US ADR market, and the stock was priced at $11.5, and the the current stock price as I see is 16.8 $16.80. The what I could found about whatever information that I could grab is that the company is valued at $10 billion at the 11.5 share prices. So I could I'm trying to get a current valuation, and the reason for doing is that I'm trying to comparing this current the valuation of Li Auto with NIO to see which one is a better investment, or how do they compare in terms of the investment at the current prices. So at 11.5, if I take it's a $10 billion valuation, then at 16.8 the current price, it will be $14.3 billion valuation. And of course, this price will keep changing, so you use this multiplication factor to arrive at a current valuation of this Li Auto. Now, as I write this in the Friday, the NIO is valued at $15.89 billion valuation at a price of 13.42. And again, this price will keep changing, especially its volatile share. So, for example, the results are going to be announced on Tuesday, August 11. So this can fluctuate high, up and down. So this figure can change. But given the scenario for these things, how do I compare from the perspective of whatsoever limited information I have? Let's see how those valuations compare. So I have some figures, and based upon these figures, what I could find is that January to March 2020, and this is the period for which what I could gather is the revenue. I'm not going into the profitability and all these things because it gets harder, because both of them are at the very initial stages, and they may have debts and they may have other things. I'm not relying upon this is a very kind of a noisy data. But one data that's most important for both these company is their current revenue in this quarter. So that in this 3 months of the NIO had a revenue of $196 million. But what I could figure out is that Li Auto had $120 million. So now, just remember, this data is also noisy because this period was affected by the COVID-19, some more, some less. So it's not a very accurate data. But what we do know is that NIO is going to have a revenue close to $600 million based upon, I have another video of this to arrive at this figure, and it will become clear when the results come out on August 11th. In the March to June period, we'll have a revenue of $600 million based upon the number of vehicles sold in this figure. And this happened primarily because they were coming out of the coronavirus, and then the vehicle sales has increased significantly. And I would expect, and for Li Auto, I do not have that kind of data, so I would expect that both these manufacturers are similarly affected, so they will have a comparable revenue growth as well. Of course, it can do better, that I don't know, and I will update this video as I get more data. And now if you see that 196 versus $120 million revenue, and if I take the revenue as the only parameter for valuing it, then I would be expecting NIO to be valued higher, not lower, than the Li Auto, which actually is the case, but it's valued only slightly higher. NIO should have been valued much higher than that. So, I mean, I would expect, based upon this information, let's see, I have some wrong numbers here. So it's valued at, let's say, $16 billion. Then the expected price of the Li Auto should be 120, which is this their revenue in this most recent quarter, divided by 196 multiplied by $16. To simplify it, I will keep it, let's say, 200. That simplifies the things by the math, and this become 0.6, and then 16 into 6, it's about 3 9 about $9.6. So I would say that Li Auto should be around $10 share, and then 11.5 is, I think it's okay. Maybe there have some other parameters that fit into that's more positively affected, and I'm going to come back to some other things that I know. But I will believe that the current price of $16.8 is a little overshoot. It's possible that the NIO itself can shoot up. It's currently at low at 13.42. If this goes up, it makes sense that this one goes up. But my feeling is that this 16.8 is a little higher. So I will wait for it to go down a little bit before I would put my money into Li Auto to diversify from NIO. Now, in terms of their current offering, Li Auto has one vehicle called Li Xiang 1, and it's an SUV. It's priced at $57,000 in US dollar. Now, this and the offerings from NIO, they are different from each other. This electric SUV has two engines. One is a petrol engine and also an electric engine. The electric one has a battery, and with that battery it can go 180 kilometers. And if you run out of the battery, you go to the petrol engine, and then you can keep running. So this is the way it's solving the problem that with the same car, if you want to go to a longer distance, you run out of battery, you just use the petrol, and you will need to rarely use that. If ever, for example, if you are driving to car, your office is, let's say, 30-40 miles away, kilometers away, then you can go and come back every day and charge it overnight, and then so you will never need to use the petrol one in the normal situations. But once in a while, once in a few months, you drive longer and you run out of the battery, you can just fill it up with the gasoline and then keep running. NIO, on the other hand, is a fully electric. It has a much higher battery range, and it solves the problem using something called a battery swap. They have made a huge network of the battery swap. They have made a battery charging stations and so on and so forth. They have, for each vehicle, they have two models. One is a smaller range of battery, smaller battery, and the other is a longer battery life, something like that can go as high as 600 kilometers in one charge or even more. So that's how NIO is solving the problem. NIO has three vehicles that I could see. ES6 and ES8 are current models, but they also have a forthcoming EC6. As far as I believe, may have more vehicles coming in. They surely will, but I could not find that information. But I will update you once I see that. So that's the information that I could gather, and that's my view. If you need more information, or if you can send me some more comments, I will keep updating you with more information. Thanks for taking a look.